Welcome back to Appian World 26. We're streaming live here in Orlando. I'm Alison Kosik, joined alongside by Dave Vellante. We're about to talk about scaling AI-driven efficiency in global healthcare operations.
Yeah, we're deep into day two. We had some great customer stories and looking forward to this one.
Yeah, let's bring him in right now. We've got Gregg Aldana. He's the Vice President, Head of Global Solutions Consulting with Appian. Welcome to theCUBE again.
Thanks for having us, Alison.
And we've got Jeff Renon, Director Information Systems with Global Excel Management. Welcome to theCUBE as well.
Thank you very much.
So Jeff, I'm going to start with you. I'm curious what the core problem was that you set out to solve, and how did your approach evolve as you introduced more automation, more AI?
Good question. So basically, at a very high level, we wanted to be able to track or be able to get information to our customers and to our employees faster, and to be able to ultimately pay claim faster is really our ultimate challenge, our goal.
And where did your partnership with Appian step in for that?
Yeah, so during the whole process, we basically took a step back of like looking at our whole process and saying, how do we want to solve that problem, right? And we wanted to know, how do we get our data faster, better? So we kind of took a step back and said, how do we get data from our customers first? And then how do we get that information into our employees' hands faster? So basically we built our front end tools through Appian, through Portal, so that we can ingest the data better and faster and expose that to our employees better.
And Greg, this was right up Appian's alley, right?
Oh, it was right in our wheelhouse. And I think one of the unique things about Appian is that how quickly you can go from experimentation or a proof of concept into production. And a lot of that has to do with not just using AI, but the platform is very cohesive. And where a lot of platforms will piece together and bolt AI from the outside, with Appian we're betting it right in the middle, so that let us help Regeneron get there a lot faster.
Jeff, can you tell us more about Global Excel Management? You're based in Canada, you're an international administrator,
yes,
third-party administrator.
Correct, yeah.
Tell us more about your business.
Yeah, basically we're based out of Canada. We're a global provider of medical assistance, claims assistance, and also cost containment. We're based out of, our headquarters is in Quebec, but we have offices in 9 different countries. Globally, we have 2,500 employees servicing members, our client members in 90 different countries.
Okay, so it's about cost efficiency.
100%.
You're managing, helping your clients manage risk.
Correct.
Service claims.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the real drivers in your business today? What's driving the decision making around where you put your resources?
The biggest one is speed, right? Nowadays, everyone wants everything now, right? They want their claim paid yesterday.
It's the millennials.
Right? Everything is a now,
how come you're not responding?
We're a very impatient culture.
For sure, and that's kind of where we want to go, is like, ultimately, like I said, how do we pay our claims are faster, right? And that's really kind of where we've been kind of looking at our whole process and saying, what are our challenges? We knew we had challenges, we knew we had things that we need to fix, but obviously at the end of the day, we had to focus on something, and that's kind of how we want to look forward for that.
And Alison, I presume as well, I mean, when you're adjudicating claims, you don't want to go back and forth. I mean, that's costly. You want to get it right the first time, explain it. If it's got to be, if the customer has to take a haircut, you explain why. If not, if you're rejecting it, you want to explain why. Maybe there's an escalation process, but you want to make that as efficient as possible, right?
Streamlined,
absolutely, absolutely, and really give them enough information. So what happens is we don't want them to be reaching out to us. We want to give that information as quickly for them so that they're not calling us every other day asking them, where's my claim, and that type of thing, right? So we want to make sure that we alleviate that issue.
So in the early days of generative AI, and Greg, I wonder if you could chime in this as well. Yeah. We saw a lot of people, because it was so experimental, stealing from other budgets to fund their AI, and then it's become more obvious where the value is. But I wonder if you could sort of take us through the journey, post the AI heard around the world.
Sure, yeah.
How you guys have worked together, what's some of the successes that you've had, and how you guys have succeeded together.
I'll tell you, the partnership with Appian and GM is really been phenomenal. And it's kind of a blueprint that we're seeing over and over again. The technology can solve some of these problems so quickly that it's actually generating the return on investment that pays for a lot of these projects. So that need for speed, that translates into real dollars. When we can adjudicate a claim, or you can actually address a customer's concern that much quicker, that's more revenue. These things are actually paying for itself. And so there's a willingness, well, what else can we do? And so we're seeing these projects go from idea into production faster than we would have ever imagined before. So it's really been a great partnership, but what we're also seeing is that it's not just enough, like the traditional ROI, like time savings, cost savings, those are great drivers, but expectations are changing. You know, Jeff talked about like people are getting impatient, they want things faster, and with ChatGPT, things have not slowed down. How quickly a company can adapt to those changes is now becoming some of the benchmark metrics here. How quickly, when a new system comes out, or a new LLM, or a new finding, can we actually implement that change? That is just as important to a CFO than just the raw cost dollar savings.
Why is process so important in healthcare environments, and process also including cybersecurity as well?
Well, I mean, it's a regulated environment, and there are specific rules that have to be followed. And I think one of the things that was a great match between Appian and GEM here was the fact that anything that you do on Appian can be audited by a third party. And you're not just using AI in isolation, or AI is a black box where we don't know what it's doing. It's AI being given a set of very defined regulated processes that can be inspected. So that if we roll out an AI agent, there are very specific steps that it has to follow. There are government rules, there are healthcare rules, so that's why it's very critical that you're very strategic about where we place AI inside these healthcare processes.
Absolutely. You know, back in the day, when the IT department was lucky enough to implement something that was, you know, saved the company money because they had an idea, or maybe they're talking to the business and it was successful, the next year your budget still got cut by 5%, do more with less. What Greg was just saying is essentially some of these AI projects are paying for themselves. Is there a gain sharing? Are you able to reinvest that?
Absolutely, right?
So
and that's one of the things that we are trying to do is look at that efficiency. Where else can we take that money and focus it on other projects that in turn is actually going to save money as well, right? So for sure. But also, like you're saying, it's always do more with less, right?
So, you know,
wait, I'm going to challenge that, Jim, because a lot of customers are not saying do more with less, they're saying do more with more. And so a lot of companies aren't just saying, hey, I don't need as many people to do what I used to be able to do, I can do more. It's like, well, wait a second, with the same number of people, I can double my output now. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of competitive companies really take a different mindset, like bust out of the common way of just cutting.
Because one of the things I've noticed, it's not a broad trend yet, but I've seen it more and more where the CFO is taking more of an operational role. I mean, Scarpelli kind of was like this, right?
Yes, our old friend from ServiceNow.
And so they had a much more of a go-to-market and a growth mindset.
Yes.
And so it was a good balance, you know, where the capital allocation, wow, if I can invest $1 in technology and get back $4, I'm going to invest $4 and get back 16.
Well, we saw the journey of a lot of these tech companies over the last 10 years, and hypergrowth was a term we all saw. Well, AI is making hypergrowth available to a lot more industries now, not just the tech industry, to grow, like you said, double every so many months. Where are you seeing the impact of that?
Really, it's kind of hard to say, right? At this point, there's so much going on. Like the curve, the AI curve. Again, one of the questions is like, where are you in your AI journey, right? That curve that goalpost changes almost every day, right? Like from 3 years ago, if you saw it 3 years ago to we are now, pretty substantial growth to where we are. But if you look at what AI is 3 years ago to today, and then where we are today with AI, we're still on that upslope because that goalpost of like AI is moving all the time.
Well,
all the time.
We're all used to S-curves, you know, we learned about them in school, and we've sort of experienced them, every new technology wave, whatever it was, cloud, internet, mobile, social, big data, PCs, it was this kind of an S-curve. Eric Brynjolfsson, the economist, who's now at Stanford, he was at MIT when we first interviewed him on theCUBE. I think that's probably a step up, maybe, I don't know. we're East Coast, so I like East Coast AI. Anyway.
East Coast AI.
He has this,
there you go.
He has this concept, I'm
right.
down with that.
That's right.
He has this concept of a J-curve, you know, which is kind of a steeper up, which, I don't know, it's kind of a weird question. Does it feel like a historical S-curve, or does it feel like more of a, well, it seems like it's a all over the place curve.
It's almost like a straight, like the way the industry is going, it's almost an exponential curve, right? Like not even a curve. It seems like there's no top at this point, right? It's just a straight line up.
Right? What I'm finding is a lot of companies I don't think they have a handle on how quickly things are going to escalate and how fast. And the companies like Global Excellence here, that are responding very quickly are going to be much more competitive. I think you're going to see winners and losers a lot more quicker than you used to be able to see them. You will see companies disappear in months, and you will see new companies emerge out of nowhere. Like it's just so fast now, Dave. We've never seen anything like this.
Jeff, what does success look like to you for your company in the next couple of years?
That's a good question. Right now, I think our success point is making sure that obviously our clients are happy, right? And we get more business in there so that we can process more claims. Really, at the end of the day, that's kind of what our goal is to be able to process claims faster and make all our customers happy.
And sorry, I apologize for not knowing that you might have said this before. You're a global organization? Or?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and you service plenty of Canadian constituents.
Correct. Yes. We have a large book of business in Canada.
How would you describe the Canadian healthcare system? Thumbs up? People like it? People happy?
Ooh, wow.
Thumbs down? I mean,
good question.
We hear all this debate.
So
in the US,
comparative. I'm born and raised in Canada.
Okay,
right? And that's all I know. Is it great to walk into a hospital and not have to worry about a $1 million bill? Great, but is it not good that you're sitting in a hospital waiting room for 11 hours? Not so good, right? Like, they call it free, but is it really free? Like, time is not free, right? That's
okay.
To me,
I like that honesty.
Right?
That,
like to me, that's kind of where that's kind of where I see it. Where it's you can walk into anywhere and get the service that you need. It might take 6 months to get it, but you'll get it.
So is this, not to deflect from what we're talking about, but let me ask this. You guys are some of the smartest people about this. Do you see an AI fix to this? Do you see a technological fix to that problem that you're just talking about?
No, because at that point, unless you're going to see an AI, you're going to type in your problem and AI is going to spit out a prescription. To me, it's more about the resources available. That's to me.
But can AI drive some efficiencies on that?
Well, I was going to say, I have a little bit of a different take, and I work with a lot of healthcare providers, and we even saw it today with the claim autism. I mean, they reduced the amount of onboarding time from 6 months to 6 days. Yeah. And so I agree with you in terms of time is of the essence. I was traveling back from a conference in Australia a few months ago, and I got an appendicitis on the flight back. And so I got rushed to a hospital in San Francisco, and I was literally in surgery within 4 hours. Now, I have private health care insurance, so maybe that might have escalated it, but time was of the essence. Mm-hmm. I was going to have something that would burst. I couldn't wait 2 days. So we're seeing a lot of the paperwork and a lot of the manual processes around getting access to healthcare being addressed rapidly with AI. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at an example like that, a claim autism, in behavioral medicine, there's really no standard way to document a diagnosis. It is the perfect use case for AI helping you, because you could have one diagnosis documented 100 different ways. An AI agent can always deal with that in a very quickly way. People will spend weeks trying to sift through that.
Well, and the reason I asked that loaded question is because the promise of AI is it's going to help with these really big, chewy problems, healthcare, climate, energy, on and on and on. And so I'd like to probe on, okay, what does that actually look like, on a practical and day-by-day basis? How do we get from here to there? And companies like yours are actually, doing the hard work. So we appreciate that. And boy, that's not a good time to get appendicitis.
I was going to say,
that's not.
The longest flight possible, Sydney to SFO, the 14-hour flight. I'm sure many of us have been on that.
Yeah.
1 hour into the flight, got the pain, and boy, oh boy, I got to the hospital very, very quickly. Thank you for that. But I really see AI addressing a lot of these problems and getting people access to healthcare. I mean, even if you look at their situation here, moving from just automating to now being a little more predictive.
Oh, 100%, oh, for sure. There's always a space for that, but like when you're talking about the healthcare, like 100% lower the question on that side of it. When you're talking about what to me, I don't have anything to compare it to. I see all the other, how the U.S. Healthcare is compared to what we have. It's like pros and cons on both.
Is there a tiered system?
No.
Can you get access to like more expensive healthcare?
And that's the one thing that they are trying to talk about. Like, can they privatize some of these things? I live in Windsor, so basically right across a border town right across from Detroit.
Michigan,
right?
yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, we have a lot of people that if they can't seek healthcare in Canada because they say they could get it, but it's a 6 month wait time, they go over and pay. They go over the border to pay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Sorry about that.
Right, because they feel their need is more.
That's ironic. I have friends who did LASIK surgery in Canada because they thought it was better and cheaper.
Oh wow. Really?
So who knows? It goes both ways.
But,
well, guys, thank you. This was
great
fascinating.
conversation.
This is
Thank
great.
you.
I think we went in a lot of different areas.
That's right. Absolutely.
Great, man.
Hey, that's how you find answers, right?
Welcome to theCUBE.
Yeah, thanks for being on theCUBE. And you've been watching theCUBE, the leader in high-tech enterprise analytics and live tech coverage. We'll be right back.